And because of those same producers who revive the same shows, it leads into the conversation about blind casting. One of the most prominent conversations in the theater community has been about blind casting, the idea that roles traditionally played by white actors can and should be open to actors of any race. In theory, this is considered generally progressive, but in practice, it has led to debates over whether people of color are being cast for the sake of optics rather than talent, reducing entire performances to preference instead of skill. But what's often missed in this conversation, however, is what's not being produced. While people are distracted by the debate over blind casting, I find myself asking a different question. Why aren't producers greenlighting original works that reflect diversity by creation, not just by casting? Blind casting, for all its potential, is often used as a cover, a way for largely white-led institutions to appear inclusive without actually investing in new work by creators of color. It allows the existing power structures to stay intact, while offering tokenized opportunities within stories that were never written with these communities in mind. The harsh reality is, many producers, the majority of whom are white, would rather cast actors of color into familiar, profitable IP than take a chance on original material authored by marginalized voices. It's safer, it's easier, and sadly, more palatable to risk-averse investors. With the rare exception of shows like Porgy and Bess, nearly every major revival centers around white narratives. That's not surprising anymore, it's just disappointing. Broadway likes to brand itself as a hub of diversity and inclusion, but in reality, it's one of the most gate-kept creative industries in America. It has made a fortune off of the backs of the very communities that it systematically excludes. It is not enough to cast black and brown faces in old white stories. The big three should be funding, staging, and uplifting new narratives, ones written by the artists who have always been referenced but rarely focused on. If Broadway is to survive, it has to move beyond diversity as an aesthetic choice and into diversity as authorship. Each passing year, Broadway's lineup feels increasingly repetitive, filled with familiar revivals, reviews, and remakes, whether of hit musicals from the past or adaptations of popular films and television series. That's because Broadway now operates similar to Disney, heavily reliant on nostalgia bait, banking on reinterpretations of modern classics instead of taking new and creative risks. Just to illustrate how deep this really runs, here are a few shows and the number of times that they've been revived. Porgy and Bess is the most revived musical with at least 7 revivals. The Threepenny Opera and Showboat both have at least 6 revivals, while Guys and Dolls, Fiddler on the Roof, Carousel, Oklahoma, Gypsy, The King and I, Man of La Mancha, West Side Story, Camelot, Brigadoon, Cabaret, Jesus Christ Superstar have all had at least 4 revivals each.